Hi everybody, welcome to Volunteer Mobilization. My name is Erin Barnhart and I will be your course facilitator. I'm looking forward to working with and getting to know each of you during the course over the next several weeks. I have a real passion for this topic, volunteer mobilization, and I have spent most of my career working with nonprofit and public organizations to better engage volunteers in their communities. I also teach a course on the topic at the University of Oregon on volunteer management for undergraduate and graduate students. So there's me. As you've read in the course materials, this is an introductory course designed to be substantial and worthy of college credit, but also designed to be manageable for you and rewarding, with practical lessons you can apply immediately at your site. I want you to feel free to contact me anytime with questions. The best way to do this is through the Moodle course platform. This is the place to send messages to me directly. If you go to my profile, you can see a link called Send a Message. Just click that to message me privately. This allows me to keep track of our conversations as they are stored in the course platform. You can also use the course discussion forum. This lets you get your questions answered while sharing answers with other course participants. In many cases, if you have a question about something, another person may have the same or a similar question. If it's something that's best discussed on the phone, we can also set up a time for a call or an online chat. This course should be an open learning community. Everyone should feel comfortable asking questions and getting advice on challenges at their site, as well as problem-solving communication issues. To facilitate this, we need to be sure to respect each other's confidentiality. So please always be careful if you discuss the course with anyone outside of our class, that you do so without identifying information about your fellow Vistas. I also know that you have all heard about the Hatch Act, and I want to give you a quick reminder that you'll want to abide by the Hatch Act while participating in this course. So please refrain from discussing and engaging in partisan politics in the class. Now that we've gotten a good overview of our class, where you are serving, and what your volunteer programs look like, let's talk about our 3 objectives for this video today. These are pretty simple. Meet your facilitator, me, you sort of just done that. Review the volunteer mobilization course, and then review the course readings and upcoming assignments. So you've met me, now let's spend some time on the course and the syllabus. This screenshot is of the Moodle site, so hopefully it should look familiar to most of you if you've been to the online classroom. I want to point out a few specific things first. Right in the middle there, you'll see the Course Communication Center. I've talked previously about communication, how to talk to me, which ones are private, which ones are public. If you look under that, you'll see the public ways to communicate, the course discussion forum, and the technical issues forum, which is where you can ask questions about technology as well as get help with anything you might run into. On the side, under navigation, my profile, you'll see the messages link. And that's where you can go to send a message to me or anyone else in the class directly. Please note that messages will be forwarded to your email, but I would ask that you log into the classroom to communicate with the messaging function. Again, it's just easier to keep all of the communication in the classroom rather than in emails. You'll also see the panel here that shows ways to jump specifically straight to parts of the courses. If you scroll down the list here, you'll see there's a course resources, volunteer mobilization syllabus, the course activity checklist, the student guide, and if we were to continue to scroll down the page, you'd see each week of the class laid out with each week's assignments. Now, under the course resources, one thing I want to draw your attention to is the syllabus. Please take some time to open this and read it through. You're going to find course text, which will provide chapter-by-chapter information, the course at a glance, which will list out the modules broken out by week and talk about the activities that you'll have. You'll also see some information about course completion and grading. This is a pass-fail class. To pass the course, you must earn a 70% or 140 points. There are 200 points total. You must also complete at least 3 of the 4 work product assignments, which are the assignments worth 25 points, as well as submit the final Week 10 reflection assignment. The course activity checklist, which you see at the bottom of the screen, lists all activities and points allotted to each assignment. Students who pass the course can apply to earn college credit, which is useful at many colleges and universities. You'll also see in the syllabus information on course expectations. You're basically expected to read the materials, complete assignments by the due date, and contact me with any questions or issues. You can expect me to read your assignments and provide you with thoughtful feedback. You can also expect me to answer your questions in a timely manner. You're also going to see information on course rules and guidelines. Some of the highlights: the work you submit must be your own. It must be based on the assignment readings and original work created just for this class. Course conduct: I want people to feel like they can openly discuss what they need to discuss within a respectful environment. So we should all be respectful of diverse opinions, and if you disagree with someone, please do so in a respectful manner. Again, the other side of this is to keep information shared by classmates confidential, and if you share it with someone outside of the class, don't use identifiable information about a particular person, program, or project. Participation. Not everyone who wanted to get into this class got in. We do have a wait list. So if you find that it is not for you, which of course I hope is not the case, you can still drop and add people within the first 2 weeks. So please do let me know if for some reason you need to drop so that we can give your spot to someone on the wait list. Assignments will be due at 11 p.m. your time each Sunday. You'll see under quizzes a date that the quiz will close, which is the last day you can access the quiz. Late work, it's all about notice. If you can't make the deadline, please let me know in advance and we can work something out. However, if you don't let me know and you miss the deadline, then there is a point penalty per day until the assignment is turned in, up to 10 days late. So please always get in contact with me if you think you will have late work, rather than just miss the deadline. Please also be sure to open the course activity checklist. This lists everything you'll need to do and by when. It also lists all possible points. We'll also ask you to fill out feedback questionnaires at the end of each module. This helps us to improve the course. And when you do give feedback, please be specific so that we can update the course as needed. So now that we've looked at the course layout, let's look at a little bit of the content of the course, specifically a few of the trends. After you watch this video, you'll want to visit the volunteeringinamerica.gov website to answer a few questions to complete the first course assignment. This website's a terrific resource that you can use to research local volunteerism in your city or state. So for now, we're going to go over some of the trends for national. As you can see on your screen here, 62.8 million Americans volunteered. 7.9 billion hours were volunteered, and this was an estimated economic impact of $184 billion. That's pretty substantial. Now, why do we bring up trends? The main idea is the more information you have about your potential volunteers in your area, the more information you have to use in your efforts to find and engage them effectively. For example, if you see that there is a large percentage of volunteers of a certain age, that might give you an idea to how you might recruit that population. So if you have a large college population or a campus in your area, you might look into the information of who are the folks volunteering and figure out how you might engage those communities. Trends also give us a snapshot of where and in what fields people volunteer. As you can see on your screen, in 2014, most people volunteered with religious organizations, followed by education. Why is this, we may wonder? One potential reason is that these organizations typically ask people to help. Places of worship often ask their congregations and communities, and schools often try to involve parents who have a stake in their children and their children's educational success. Another reason is that people are motivated by things closest to their lives, including the well-being of their children and their faith communities. Another set of information gives you a sense of what volunteers do with their time. How can you use this? You can keep this in mind when structuring volunteer activities or when deciding on what activities might make sense. This can help you identify some of the skill sets volunteers bring to your organization. So for example, in your community, tutoring and teaching might be very popular, and that might be something that you could potentially engage your volunteers in. Two other trends that emerged in the last few years that I want to point out are related to volunteering and employment. This one's especially important to consider when thinking about volunteer motivations. Folks may be volunteering to lend a hand and do some good, but they also might be seeking to gain skills and make new connections so that they can find work. And as you see on your screen, volunteers do in fact have higher odds of getting a job after being out of work than non-volunteers. The other trend is between volunteering and charitable giving. This can be useful information if, at your organization, you're partnering with a fundraising campaign. As you see on your screen, volunteers are twice as likely to donate to charity as non-volunteers. Another trend to take a look at is motivations. As you can see, over the past 13 years, volunteers have made a huge impact. 104.9 billion hours volunteered and $2.1 trillion estimated value of volunteering. That's amazing. Now, there are many different kinds of motivations for volunteering, and most of them are not mutually exclusive. Some are more about benefiting oneself and your goals and motivations. Some might be about a broader sense of altruism or civic responsibility. Why does this matter? In order to reach out to those who you want to volunteer for your organization, it's important to understand what might motivate people. If you can tap into their motivation, you have a better chance of recruiting and keeping the right volunteers. And motivations and trends should always be at the back of your mind whenever you're working on things for your site related to volunteer activities. So as you see on your screen here, here's just a few of the kinds of volunteer motivations that might encourage someone to spend some time with you. Making a difference, giving back, personal connection to an issue or cause, socializing and getting to know others, developing and practicing skills, exploring a career path, staying active and getting outdoors, and simply having fun. Now you'll want to understand motivations, but you'll also want to think about what volunteers need to be successful. Why? But because you'll want to design position descriptions and systems that address all of these things. Some of these things include sense of ownership, belonging to a team effort, wanting to move the bar forward. Trust and respect, being trusted as members of a team, respected for their ideas and efforts. Responsibility, this is linked to trust. Volunteers given responsibility follow through and deliver on important objectives. Clear expectations. You don't want to soft sell something. You don't want to bring people in under the guise of everything being easy and wonderful if it's actually going to be pretty tough. So be truthful about what they will be doing and what you expect of folks. Making a difference. Part of a movement to create change, being sure to show folks why the results of their efforts, no matter how small the task, why it matters. This is important for folks to understand why they are participating and why they're contributing their time to your organization. And lastly, being valued and appreciated. Find out what strengths your volunteers have and use them strategically. Don't use high-impact volunteers in low-impact positions unless that's what they're seeking to do. Make sure you appreciate your volunteers and share feedback on their efforts. Now, I've shared on the screen here a link to the Volunteers' Bill of Rights and Responsibilities. In full disclosure, I actually wrote this when I was a member of the staff at idealist.org, and it has 5 rights and 5 responsibilities for volunteers. For rights for volunteers, it's the right to feel safe, the right to information about one's volunteer role or project, the right to feel valued, the right to negotiate one's volunteer role, and the right to leave. However, their responsibilities are the responsibility to communicate their needs, to follow through on their obligations, to not promise what they can't deliver, to honor an organization's investment in them, and lastly, to be sure to take care of themselves as they volunteer. Understanding volunteer motivations and needs provides you with a foundation to build your volunteer program. Throughout this course, we're going to spend quite a bit of time examining these foundational issues so that your recruitment, screening, matching, and training efforts are strategic and effective. In fact, we've designed the course to help you think through key issues and needs before you build each program element. In this course, we will be doing both strategy and system activities to allow you to understand the how and the why to program design, enabling you to take the skills of this course back to your VISTA site and beyond to post-VISTA endeavors. For each module, you'll be taking in information from the readings, testing your knowledge, usually with quizzes, and then using a tool or a worksheet to help you think about things in the context of your VISTA organization or project to start the planning process that will help you complete a work product due at the end of each module. You'll be doing things at a strategy level and then at a systems level, so planning and then developing the tools to carry out the plan. One important note, we will be working with one volunteer position throughout the course, from the first written assignment of developing a position description through the end when you'll outline an orientation and training plan. So you'll want to choose or create one volunteer position from your site to use throughout the class. Or if you don't have a volunteer program yet, you'll craft a position based on your needs. You'll then be able to transfer the skills and strategies you develop in relation to one position to any other position at your organization. I hope this video has helped you to see clearly how this course will proceed and the manner in which we're going to approach each module and the assignments throughout the class. Remember, please don't hesitate to contact me if you ever have any questions. We want this course to be pleasant and informative, and most importantly, a useful experience for all of you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you online.